Hey guys, EST here, and I don't usually make this type of content, but once in a while the news merits it. So this isn't the sky is falling boy who cried wolf nonsense channel like some other prepper channels. But with, the sun activity and some weird weather trends and a couple other things that were very timely, and me making videos on that, I just had to talk about this too because, nobody else is. But if you're looking for more evergreen content, as they call it, like here's how you light a fire a really odd way that's not commonly known, well, people could watch it 10 years from now and it would be just as relevant as it is today. And yeah, that is a bit of a business decision on my part. But like I said, once in a while people have to know about something. So what is going on with the economy? Well, if you looked at the news headlines over most of June and July, inflation is flattening out. Unemployment is allegedly down. Everything's fine, everybody. Look at these, hand-picked stats. Well, besides YouTube and on and off some other jobs and just, whatever with the ebb and flow of income streams, I've been doing all kinds of side hustles from driving for Uber, unfortunately, would not recommend it, to trying to sell stuff, flip stuff, get stuff at auctions, garage rummage, yard or tag sales, depending upon where you live, pawn shops, whatever, flipping on eBay, old collectible stuff. So I've got years and years of knowing resale, knowing what sells, knowing what doesn't. And lately, it's just been insane. I'm working full-time at a pretty high-paying job now, so I haven't really touched, low resale, but I picked up a couple items that I couldn't say no to, and I thought, okay, they're a little heavy, let's flip them on Facebook Marketplace. These are no-problem items. This is like power tools, furniture, large appliances, stuff that just goes like crazy. And I haven't been able to move much. And I thought, okay, I don't think I'm getting penalized or shadow banned or whatever. And I don't think everyone and their grandma has officially left Facebook quite yet. And I've never had a problem with the fake name that I use for the last, 20 years. Got out ahead of that one, didn't I? I guess we showed who was right in the end there. So I thought, what's up? Maybe it's just me. So I started talking because once you kind of work in this area for long enough, you meet other people that do it, your family members, you get them into it. And the Amazon return, pallet breakdown stores. The small resale places. The thrift stores that use pickers. The junk removal specialist people. I mean, you just talk. And so I was talking with somebody else, two people actually that I know that very heavily do Facebook Marketplace. And they had told me just nothing is moving. They had acquired a very large amount just for summer of pool stuff, outdoor stuff, probably pools themselves. Maybe like a slip and slide, maybe some, water splash pads or just, whatever. Swimmer, I think, was in there. Boy, I mean, you could buy Christmas stuff in the middle of, spring and get a pretty good deal, but you're going to hold it and you're not going to move it too quick, and that's why. This stuff, you can't get much more timely than that. And they said just nothing. All of a sudden, nothing is moving, and they had no problem flipping all kinds of stuff. So then I thought maybe it's a regional thing, so I reached out to some resellers on some online groups, and they said, yeah, it's been just dead. Some of the staple items that we know we can count on still haven't been moving. They've been having to just post them for, cost or something just to get rid of them and cycle stuff out and try something else. A lot of the retail arbitrage, as they call it, although I focus personally more on clearance items than off-the-shelf brand new full retail Lego sets. But really, anybody in between, they've been saying, yeah, you got to be more careful. Even printer ink and stuff and air filters, they just aren't moving like they used to, at all. Now remember, I was selling stuff back in the 2008 housing economic depression or recession or whatever it turned out to be. And back then, that was the segment, the secondary market that normal people were moving to because they say, hey, I need a chainsaw, I need a freezer, I need whatever. But am I going to go to the store and drop 1,000 retail on it? Probably not. Let's go on Facebook Marketplace. I can plug it in. I can pick it up locally. No hassle. Let's just do it. So for those people to be going away, what the heck? Now I know, dumb luxury stuff, vacation-related, entertainment-related, people are slowing down on that because, the economy just wasn't very good. And I have a theory that people are kind of having debts catch up on them from COVID, from unemployment, from price spikes, having to still buy food, still buy whatever, and having it cost 20% more. And so they said, well, I still got to do this, still got to do that. And they threw it on credit cards saying, oh, this is just a temporary thing. It'll be over eventually. And they were correct. But usually about a year and a half is where I would place it, is where people start saying, wow, this balance is not getting any lower. I need to take this seriously. And then they just like turtle up, don't spend on anything but the essentials. But then think about it. Like I said, stuff breaks. People still need to do projects. People still need to just do life stuff, do house maintenance stuff. People still move. They still need furniture. And I wouldn't be surprised if nobody's visiting the big box furniture stores anymore. But then why aren't people buying my friend's couch? Like it doesn't make sense. And it's not regional, it's not weather, it's weird. So then I tried a couple things on eBay, and a couple things were really hot, but they were what I would call investor stuff. I started moving some really old games, not like ancient, we're not talking like NES and like N64 and stuff, but like some Wii, some GameCube, some early PlayStation stuff, and it's going for insane prices, and quickly. And now I thought that had cooled off. But I think a lot of these people, just based on their addresses, I started kind of looking into this, like who's purchasing this. It was stores that sell it, and they were using like, I think automated bots to undercut it, because within 10 minutes of me posting, I had like 3 offers. So it's like a keyword scraper, if you know what those are. If you don't know how those work, go on Facebook Marketplace, try and sell like a couple bars of silver. You'll have 10 offers in 5 minutes because they have a scraper bot that just watches for those posts so that you can get to them first and then makes an automated offer on your behalf. People pay for their services, and it's not like they're doing something illegal. They're using what they call API access, I think, in all likelihood on Facebook. So it's fine. It moves business. They don't really care. So it's kind of a neat, interesting thing. But besides those people, those investors scooping the stuff up for immediate resale, because I had priced them pretty aggressively just to see if anything would move at any price. And I'm getting $40, $50, $60, $70 for games that came out for like $30. But they were like really big titles. Some of the stuff was really rare. You know, it's from my own personal collection. So at least that stuff was moving, which is surprising because, like I said, right when inflation was starting, right when COVID was starting, kind of the same time because Biden decided to print over $1 trillion, people wanted to escape inflation. So they're like, well, let's just hold assets that generally go up in price, but also, you know, diversify. Let's get some metal. Let's get some old comic books. Let's get, you know, everything. And then those should rise with the market. And for the most part, they did. I mean, demand on luxury items doesn't go well in an economic downturn, but if you hold it long enough, then you're good. So I'm surprised to see that still going on. I don't know if people just, they have some money now and think it's a good investment, or is people just getting into it, or is people have been doing it for 15 years? I don't know. So at least that segment's still moving, but then let's talk about like dumb luxury stuff, entertainment stuff you don't need. Disneyland reporting record low ticket sales. Now that could be because of all their offensive, woke, and poorly succeeding content. All their garbage movies that flopped because they had a bunch of lefty activists put a bunch of garbage in it, and then while also being talentless writers. But I feel like that wouldn't single-handedly sink it, but I heard their prices are up like 30, 40, 50% at some of the parks. I think people aren't feeling that, and then you got weird temperature trends, and they're kind of blaming that. And then they're dragging everybody down saying, hey, our competitors are also lower too. Like competing parks, probably like Six Flags and that kind of stuff, they're seeing lower ticket sales. Now, I haven't tracked NBA games and I think, the season's over or something. Baseball, who knows? They've been declining forever. And don't ask me about tickets to go watch somebody golf. But with the NFL season not going on, let's just say if certain stadiums that have very beloved teams started not selling out all of a sudden for the first time in 50 years, then I'm going to get more worried. But yeah, travel agents are saying their business is down. I think people really lost a lot of money during COVID. Now they're being a little smarter with their money. And is it a permanent adjustment? Is it paying off old debts? Is it some kind of job change thing? Is it cost of living expenses going up and there's no room in the budget? I think it's everything. But remember, like I said, the news narratives on all the, we'll just say, current government mouthpiece level trash websites have been all simultaneously saying, hey, this isn't a coordinated effort, it's just because Q2 numbers. So of course we're all posting this at the same time, which, yeah, okay. But it's really handpicked. It's like, look at this exact statistic. Look at this one provided by the government that may or may not be fluffing the numbers or changing the way you count it. I think the opportunity is at least there for these numbers to be very misleading, because you can take any numbers and lie with them. You can take any statistics and make them look like anything just about. So saying, hey, it's fine, and this was just a one-time thing. In fact, it was a good idea. Look at all this money we printed and sent to Ukraine and spent on social programs that vaguely had something to maybe do with COVID and pretty much just went to drug companies. It was necessary because it was a disaster, unprecedented, which really, we've never had anything like that before. You ever heard of the Black Plague? It was a little worse. Spanish flu, every other outbreak of everything that killed a bunch of people, like every decade for the last 100 years. Okay, yeah, sure. And I'm sure 100% of that money was well used. So I think they're trying to convince people, hey, this was actually a good thing. Just like leaving Afghanistan. Oh, look, it was great. Don't look at these numbers. Look at this. And yeah, shocking. Government propaganda. Wow, they do that. I'm so shocked. This is totally news to me. And we're coming up on an election. I don't know why they're even trying at this point to win. They have nobody to run because everybody hates all of them because their policies are garbage and people are turning on them. So we'll see what ends up actually happening and what route they go for strategy other than just giving up. But have you heard of any new gun bans lately? Have you heard of any new controversial topics that are trying to be pushed into law right now? It's almost like we're coming up on an election year. So that all kind of comes together as the narrative that they want to push, which is constantly, we're not doing a bad job. And yeah, every political party in almost every country has done that. It's just the current people in government are especially bad, so I want to point it out even more. So it just does strike me as a coordinated effort to push one story all at once, all in a pretty short period of time. And not every news story, when you see a pattern like that, is what it is. A lot of people copy each other just to get views, and sometimes stories go viral and stupid things catch on and whatever. So I'm not saying 100% for sure, propaganda campaign, but in all likelihood and historically with how they do this and how the press secretary works and that kind of stuff, yeah, I could see it. But there's a couple more factors I want to talk about. Rich people and large business owners have a very high vested interest to be the first to react to a change, especially a downturn. Now, a big money-making trend, jump on it. AI-generated content that's actually good, automation tasks. There is a reason investors are throwing billions at it, and there's a reason everybody's trying to, throw bricks in front of each other's vehicles racing to the finish line on this one, while trying to get ahead themselves and, doing normal competition market stuff, which is generally good. It forces innovation and quicker. But that's like, we made 20% instead of 10% because of these cool sectors we moved into. Look at how many times GE has shifted how they work. Look at how many times Facebook has failed miserably, then try to move into a new sector, then realize that everybody still hates them and fail miserably. So they tend to talk to people, talk to each other, look at numbers that not everybody has access to, have really good AI scanner bots and lots of paid staff looking just for trend data and stories that haven't blown up yet, and then they make decisions. So if you watch what they do and then say, let's try to make a pattern here. Why are they doing this? Let's look deeper besides their public statements and see, this seems like an odd pivot. What would lead to that? You can gain some useful insights. So lately, video game publishers and movies have been generally going with safe bets. And when do you go with safe bets? That are going to, not absolutely blow up and be the next Lord of the Rings, or be this, come out of nowhere hit like the Blair Witch Project or something. They're like, let's just make a remake. Like for video games, this worked. People can't even play this game anymore because it's been 15, 20 years. It doesn't even function on modern technology without a bunch of weird, quirky hacks and effort that people aren't willing to put in other than, you go on Steam and hit buy and it works. So they make an HD remake and they're like, well, we don't need to hire writers and experiment with a new storyline because this already was a hit. And so let's just make it look HD, throw some money at it, throw some devs at it for 1/3 the time and then release it. That's a safe bet. And my gosh, have video games just been re-releases, like lately. Now, you still got Bethesda working on Starfield. That's a brand new thing. It's basically going to be Fallout / Skyrim in space. That's a brand new thing. They haven't done anything like that before ever, but they've also been working on it for like 10 years. So it's not like everybody's turtling. Nobody's making, non-conservative economic, overreaches that could destroy their company, but generally they aren't. Now, I'm not saying all the garbage Disney remakes are making money. They absolutely aren't, but that's what they thought they were doing, was going for safe bets. And they were, until they failed to do any kind of market research and said, what's more important than money or business? Hiring people that want to take a message and shove it down people's throats. Maybe that'll work out really well. And boy, did it. Yeah, that worked out great. Wow. But their intention was to not experiment with a new movie idea that might flop and might not. And they're still doing experimental things, because if you're not moving forward, then you're just standing still, you're actually moving backwards because somebody will replace you. That's how business generally works. Hollywood and the theaters are kind of like an oligopoly, and they kind of push out competition, but indie movies can still blow up. I bet you could think of one I'm thinking of right now. So you've got interesting new ideas that are kind of low budget, especially for streaming services where you need to make more movies to more places for less money because you don't know what the return is going to be. But then look at what they're spending $100 million plus on. What every studio thought was a really, really good, safe idea in a remake or a sequel or whatever. Too bad they can't keep their stupid, warped worldview and disgusting lack of morals out of the movie. Otherwise, it might have worked. Boy, isn't that a shame? It'll be such a shame when they just lose so much money they have to stop. Wouldn't that be terrible? Oh my. But the point is, like, look what they're doing. Look how they're being safe and not overextending. When you're looking at economic growth, you're like, okay, we're going to have more coming in. Let's experiment. Let's move on. Let's throw 10 things at the wall, and if one sticks, that one could make us $1 billion. No company is doing that. You don't have people saying, hey, let's do a giant, like, bullet train project in America. There's been a couple attempts, but they're all just nonsense and some are outright scams. Nobody's saying, let's do this big, giant, huge investment that won't pay off for 10 years. Nobody's doing that right now. And the general consensus among economic analysts that are telling the truth is that it's because people are uncertain about the next 2 years' economics. So all the news stories and headlines about, oh, it's all great, it's all fantastic. Look at all these numbers. And then literally the same people, the same companies turn around and are hyper conservative on spending and taking safe bets. They don't do that if they think everything's in a recovery and we're pre-boom right now. We're just going to hit the gas, okay? So the funny thing is, historically, you will not see a giant market downturn from the biggest who cares about their alignments in politics company across the board. It doesn't matter, except right after a Democrat gets elected. As soon as a Republican gets elected, doesn't even matter who they are, all the markets go up. And when, like, Obama came in, all the markets go down overnight. Because they know overspending, stupid social programs, and raised taxes are what they could expect for the next 4 years, and it's time to kind of pull in the real fringe stuff that was experimental and just focus on core stuff so that you don't go out of business. And that's what people are still doing right now. So the whole COVID is over, inflation is over, let's move on. Oh, look, the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not buying it quite yet. So what should you do with this information, which is definitely not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor in any way? I would say just don't go get a boat loan. Don't spend money you don't have. I mean, I would almost recommend you don't do that normally. But don't say, oh, I'm making a little bit more money now. I got a different job. I got a promotion. Let's immediately buy a bigger house and spend 60% of my income on just living. That's a great way to go upside down on it. You know, maybe don't take out a 95% home loan with PMI insurance. Oh, the I stands for insurance. I just said insurance, but you get me. Now, I'm not saying look to the future and say, yeah, but everything's fine. We might have a giant hurricane or an earthquake, though. I don't know. I better not. And then you find yourself at retirement age and you haven't spent any money on anything and you've got a giant pile of money and then who knows, maybe you get hit by a bus. But also don't live on the edge paycheck to paycheck, yeehaw, YOLO, oh look, we got an $800 Christmas bonus, let's immediately spend it on vacation. Normally, I think that's an irresponsible way to live regardless of the economic state. But it's especially dumb now, and it could be encouraged by reading those headlines. So I wanted to clear that up. And if you think anybody else that you know is thinking differently and saying, no, I think it is time to open a brand new business. I think it is time to run up some debt and try this experimental thing and go all in on this. Maybe not. I would strongly recommend against overextending right now just on the basis of people saying it's fine and we're looking for an economic recovery. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you want more practical, how-to instructional and gear testing videos, all unsponsored, you are on the right channel, and occasionally stuff that you really, really, really need to know about. So go check out my other videos on the weird sun activity, weird solar cycle that we're having. I think I did something on anomalous weather and a couple other things. And big announcement, I'm going to make a video dedicated to just this, but if you made it this far in the video, first of all, subscribe, because obviously you like my content. And secondly, I'm on Rumble under the exact same name. It's like YouTube, but better. I mean, you can watch stuff with your phone screen locked and turned off without having to give YouTube $12 a month. Less ads, better algorithm, no stupid censorship and biased crap. Watch out for all the fringe lunatics that are spouting off nonsense and conspiracy theories that sound great on the surface unless you have a functioning brain. But hey, that's why I'm going over there, shining the light on actual truth and actual facts and stuff that's actually useful. So not conspiracies that are easily disproven and lizard people and all that other earth flat nonsense. Don't be one of those idiots. So if you want to check it out, emergency survival tips on Rumble. Not going to link to it or anything because I don't want YouTube to know that I'm setting traffic off site and then them silently penalizing me and then lying to my face and saying they aren't doing it, because they've done stuff like that before. So has Twitter, so has Facebook. But maybe we should get away from these big tech companies that do not have our best interest at heart in any way, shape, or form. So go check it out. I think you'll find it's a better platform than YouTube, or stick around here, or both. Don't really care, as long as you're getting information that you're happy with like this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.